If you have a Contiki coming up soon and you're nervous, confused, excited, and you just want to be prepared for it, I'm going to try and help you calm some of those nerves and give you some hints and tips. I watched so many of these videos on YouTube before I went on my trip just to like prepare myself. I still managed to learn a few things along the way that I thought might be really, really helpful. So hi, my name is Michael, and in May I did a 45-day Contiki trip. It was called the Ultimate European plus Egypt, but you had the option of going to the Greek islands if you didn't want to do Egypt. So I decided to do Contiki because it was something that I'd always wanted to do, but I just couldn't afford it, or I couldn't take the time off work to go actually do it. And I always knew that I wanted to do a big Contiki trip just to try and do and see as much as possible, as quickly as possible. That is just my holidaying style. I get really bored really, really easily. So the fast pacedness of Contiki is what drew me in. Oh my God, was it fast paced? So make sure you subscribe to the channel if you want more Contiki tips, and let's just dive in. Tip number 1, how to stop the nerves and make friends. I've got a computer full of notes here, so if I keep looking off to the side, that's why. But look, first of all, being nervous is so normal. Trust me, everyone in our group felt the same. So in total, I think there were 46 of us on the group, and all of us were solo travelers, except there were a couple of couples, and then maybe like 1 or 2 best friends traveling together. But yeah, for the most part, we were all solo. So basically, we already had something in common with each other, which helped to like soften the nerves a little bit. Plus, quite a few of us had already been chatting in the Contiki Facebook group that we created. This was before our tour manager even made one for us. It's a really, really good way of putting like faces to names. Also, on the night before the trip started, we had a little meetup in the courtyard of the Royal National Hotel, which was a super casual, like really cute way of getting to meet each other and interact. Do not feel pressured to do this, but I struggle with social anxiety really bad, and I thought this was my one chance, break out of my shell a little bit and just go with the flow. Tip number 2, get an international SIM card. So there is free Wi-Fi at most hotels, which I never really used, but a lot of other people did, and it seemed to work fine for them. There is free Wi-Fi on the bus as well, but it really is not the best, and there's a limit of how much data you can use. I think it's 200 meg. So just save yourself the hassle and get a SIM card. Now, technology these days is pretty amazing, so you can get eSIMs now. Not all phones support it though, so just be careful with that, but it's literally like a virtual SIM card that you can purchase on the internet. I personally offered to go with physical SIM cards just because they gave me lots of data. I'm a content creator over on TikTok, so I knew that I wanted to vlog my entire trip, so I really needed lots of data. I got mine through SIM Corner. There was a UK plus Europe one that gave me 100 gigabytes for 30 days, so I bought 2 of those. And then for Egypt, I got a 6 gigabyte plan that was for 15 days. Yeah, the internet on these was so fast, and I literally had service everywhere except for, I think, Switzerland. There was like one random country that wasn't included on the list. But I stupidly left my Egypt SIM card in my suitcase back in Greece when we flew to Cairo. So on the way to the airport, I was like buying an eSIM for Egypt, and then by the time I landed, it was all activated and ready to go. Ooh, lifesaver. All right, tip number 3, surviving travel days. So this is where the Contiki marketing team deserve a raise, because they make these travel days sound really glamorous on the itinerary compared to the reality of it. They are long, and sometimes you're on the bus at 7:30 in the morning and you won't get to your place until maybe about 5 p.m. You have breaks in between at service stations, but really you're living off like chips and chocolate for a lot of the time. It's like, oh, just prepare yourself for that. When you're actually on the bus, each chair has 2 USB ports. There's also like a handrail, a tray table, and like a mesh compartment. The chairs themselves are relatively comfy and they do recline. Just make sure you're wearing really comfortable clothes on these traveling days, have your music downloaded, have your videos downloaded, and they sort of tell you to like move around the bus along the journey and like don't always sit in the same spot. But honestly, I would try and claim a spot if you can. So like leave a towel or a neck pillow or something on your chair before you leave the bus at the end of the day. I really struggled with motion sickness on the bus, so I had to sit at the front a lot of the time just so I could like see out. And I'm telling you, if someone decided to sit in a different spot, it would like change the whole dynamic of the bus. Then I would have to move, and then I would be like bedridden after a travel day. It was awful. So claim your spot. So tip number 4, bring all of the medications. This is one tip that every Contiki video recommends, and it is for a good reason. So Contiki cough is very real, and honestly, I think our bus had Contiki plague. It started at about day 4. There was like someone coughing. I don't know who it was. I could hear it and I was like, okay, here we go. And then it just spiraled into full-on madness. It was probably about like every 4 seconds there was a cough. So every single morning I took a multivitamin, vitamin C, vitamin D, B12, and then I think it was about 2 weeks into the trip, that's when I got sick. And after that, I was sick for the entire trip at like varying levels. Plus, I also lost my taste and smell twice on the trip, so I'm pretty sure I had the C word. I would also recommend bringing fiber tablets, GastroStop, and Hydrolyte, and a couple of people on the trip actually got pneumonia. So yeah, just prepare yourself and bring every medication that you can think of, because if you don't need it, someone else might, and it's a team effort on these things. Tip number 5, doing laundry laundry. This was one of my least favorite parts about the trip, especially because we were gone for such a long time. There would literally be weeks before I could wash my clothes. It probably wouldn't be so bad if you're only gone for like 1 week or 2, but this was 6 weeks. So yeah, we definitely got caught out. Luckily, I don't really smell. Plus I brought like 15 pairs of undies and socks just to make sure that I was never caught out. Yeah, some hotels offered laundry, some didn't. And if they did offer it, it was usually like really expensive. So when I was super desperate, I would just Google laundromats in the city that we were at. And then I just took my clothes there when we had free time. There were a couple of times where I had to wash my undies and socks in the bathroom sink though. Just make sure you bring some washing detergent for emergencies like that, okay? And lastly, tip number 6, taking care of your mental health. Now, I've struggled with mental health my entire life, so I'd like to think that I know when I'm not doing so great, like mentally, or if I just need a time out, and I was really happy to do my own thing a lot of the time. I'm in my 30s, so for me, partying and being hungover every day just was not my thing, and it absolutely would have destroyed me. Plus, I just know that alcohol is not good for my brain in general, and it would have sent me into a spiral, so I was sober for 95% of the trip. And people are always like, why would you do Contiki then? Rah, 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 it's all about partying. And honestly, I did feel pressured at times to like go out to the clubs and black out, but I didn't do that and I stuck to my values. Plus, I wasn't the only one. There was actually a few of us on the trip that was sober, so we would always leave early and just catch an Uber together and we'd get home safe together. It was nice. And don't get me wrong, I definitely had some drinks along the way, but I just know that my mental health is more important to me than going out to the club, especially if I was gonna last 45 days on a bus. So these were some of my Contiki tips for you. I hope it helped. If you have any more questions or want some more advice, leave them in the comments section. I literally have an entire list on my notes app. Also, if you want like a day-by-day itinerary video of the trip, I would definitely be down to do that. I think that would be really, really fun, but probably like 2 hours long. So if you want like a condensed version of it, I have a whole series on my TikTok of my daily vlogs from the trip. So make sure you check out the link in the bio and give me a cheeky follow. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.